Skyscraper is a first-person action-adventure shooter that was published by Midas Interactive for the PlayStation 2 in 2008, and the game would also get a subsequent release on the Nintendo Wii and would later be ported to the PlayStation Network through the PlayStation 3 a few years later. And the game takes on the role of a scientist after having nipped out to do a few errands, comes back to his office that's in like a tower, only to find it being overrun with terrorists looking to take over the building. So it is up to the player to engage and to find out what's going on and the reasons why they're taking over the building, but he also has to save his girlfriend that's up on the top floor. But just note that this game is a budget title, and with budget titles come their own inherent array of flaws and poor kind of choices in terms of games development, because while it does have some ideas that you would think that would be suited, the game just isn't put together in a way that is representable. Yes, it's playable, but this game, it got such bad reviews that it's considered to be among one of the worst games of all time, and probably the worst FPS shooter of all time, as it has very clunky controls, but it's the puzzles that will frustrate a lot of players, because most people that have played this game, myself included, cannot even get past the first puzzle or get past the first level in the game. It's ridiculous, because all of the puzzles that you'll encounter, if you can manage to complete them, they're all pure luck based. There's not really much in terms of skill, because you see, every puzzle you interact with is all randomly generated, so every time you go back into it, it changes, and you could try a million attempts before you get one good run, and even at that, it still mightn't work. And unfortunately, from reviews that I have looked at online, they said that after the first level, it doesn't really improve. Yes, you do gain access to additional weapons, and you have a few other missions and challenges to overcome, but that's pretty much it. Even for myself, I originally did buy this game years ago, and I bought it actually through the PlayStation Network on the PS3, and I was interested to see what it was like. Now, I got it cheap. I think I got it for like only €2 or something like that. It was going cheap on the store, so I said I'd try it out, but I couldn't even get past the first puzzle. You can play into the game a little bit. You'll play it for about 5 minutes, and then you'll end up hitting your first puzzle, and you have to unlock a door. You have to bypass the security system, which means you have to move around like different wires and chips and so forth, but it's a pain in the backside, really. For me, it's impossible. No matter how many times I go back to play it, to this day, I still cannot get past that bloody puzzle. Even with recording this video, the same thing happened again, because everything's randomly generated. Every time you go into the puzzle, it just changes. There's sometimes you go in and the puzzle is completely unplayable, because there's certain elements you have to line up and it just doesn't work, because everything doesn't line up at all, and because every piece that you have to flip over or change, it takes time off of your timer, and it just, yeah, I can't really say anything about it. It's one of those games I want to like it. Now, I hate being negative around games, and the thing is, what's annoying is the game is playable and you can do something with it to a certain degree, but it's the silly puzzles for me that just, the fact is that they're just completely random, and it's just pure luck to be able to have a chance of progression. It's just ridiculous. Like, you could literally sit there for an entire day on one puzzle and you will never complete it. I remember even the few times I did play it, even recording this video, I sat there for about 45 minutes trying to get through that damn puzzle, and I couldn't get through it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Even there's so many videos even on YouTube as well, and people have the same problem. It's ridiculous how poorly designed this game was, or is. The developers really went out of their way to make this game as difficult as possible, and I don't even think it was intentional. That's the problem with it. I don't think that the ideas that they put into the game were really intentional. They just put it in and just left it there and didn't fix it and just released it as it is. So in all honesty, the only way really this game would be worth any value to you, if you are an actual collector and you wanted to collect all of the games that were available on the PS2, just to add to your collection, but you probably would never play it. And if you do manage to find it in a bargain bin, it's probably one of those games that you'd probably be best off to avoid. Now, I hate saying that. I don't like doing that about games, but I do have to be realistic in what I see, and I have played this game, and like, it is playable, but that's the annoying part. It is actually playable. You can engage with weapons and you can shoot enemies, but what it does do, it does work to some degree, but it's the puzzles that don't work. It is what it is. Now, I know myself, I'm going off on a rant here, but it's just one of those games that I would have liked to have seen some level of progression in it. If I decide to put time into it, you want to be able to get somewhere, but then when you get to a silly puzzle that's just completely random and it changes all the time, so it's pure luck to determine if you'll get through it or not, and for me, that's just no good. That's not the basis of a well-developed game. That's just really bad decision making. So if you do decide to play this game, just be warned, the puzzles will drive you mad, but in my own honest opinion, you might be better just to look elsewhere, in all honesty. But regardless, I would love to know your thoughts of this game, if you have played it at all, and if so, have you managed to get past those damn puzzles in the game, because it was driving me mad, and I'm sure it's driven other people mad as well. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this game, if you have any at all. So be sure to share it down in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be updated of future feature videos. And if you would like to see more content around other types of more obscure games like this that were also released on the PS2, then you can check out the playlist on screen to see more of those games in action. And I will see you all in the next one.